Hey, I'm Stephie James, and this is Stephie Plays and Sings. This is our very first one of the series, and this is Matt Man.
Today we'll be playing and singing Spanish Harlem by Benny King. In 1960, Spanish Harlem was written by Jerry Leiber and Phil Spector.
Yeah, and when we say Phil Spector in 1960, he was not the record producer, music industry giant that we think of. I'm a huge Phil Spector fan, huge influence of mine. But this is way before "Be My Baby" and the Wall of Sound and all that stuff. He's just a 20-year-old kid. He's got one hit under his belt. It was like a song he wrote and recorded with his high school vocal group. And he's just trying to break into the industry at this point and following Lieber and Stoller around, begging for a co-write. And I guess as a favor to their music publisher, they agreed to finally sit down and write a song with this kid. And Phil Spector shows up way too early for the session. He's super excited. And they write the song before Mike Stoller even gets there.
And at this time, Leiber and Stoller are giants in the music industry. Every great song, especially any R&B song or rock and roll song that made its way to the pop charts, there was a great chance that these guys had something to do with it one way or another.
Yeah, and according to Lieber, when he and Phil got together, he had pulled out some Spanish records that he wanted to play for Phil Spector, and Phil pretty quickly picked out the melodies, and the song got written pretty quickly. And then after, when Mike Stoller finally got around to hearing the song, he wrote that musical figure that goes throughout the entire song and kind of became a really integral part of the song. So that was kind of Mike Stoller's contribution, even though he's not credited.
Meanwhile, Benny King, recently departed from the Drifters, was starting a solo career. This was the first single that he put out. It was a huge hit, and it was a giant milestone for both him and Phil Spector.
Yeah, and fun fact about the actual recording, the vocal group singing backups was a group called the Gospelaires. Anyway, a young pre-fame Dionne Warwick was in that group, so she sang backups on the record. That's kind of cool. And of course, we have to mention 1971. Aretha Franklin recorded the song, and she took it to number 2. That's a great version as well. But there's tons of. Tom Jones has a version. Everybody from the Mamas and the Papas to Jay and the Americans. Tons of versions. Great song.
And now here's a new version.
Yeah. There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, a red rose up in Spanish Harlem. It is a special one, it's never seen the sun. It only comes out when the moon is on the run and all the stars are gleaming. It's growing in the street, right up through the concrete, but soft and sweet and dreaming. There is a rose in Spanish Harlem, A red rose up in Spanish Harlem.